There's a lot of things to do. Uh, Burden, burden experience in general, there are so many things that one can talk about. How you live as a student, how things were strange for you when you got there, especially for me because I was coming from the west down to the north. It wasn't easy because going there was the first time I saw ice falling from the sky. I've never seen that in my life, as in when rain is falling during the rainy season. It's always very, very strong.
Yeah, the
Fine.
extreme weather
Yes,
conditions.
the rain doesn't fall when it falls in the south here. It starts falling from April. When it starts, it's really very heavy. Because where my school was not the capital. It was kind of far. It's like the food basket of the state. Ganye. That's where they plant yams, corn, and many things. That's what they do. So they have a lot of rain. And when it comes to cold, it's so cold to the extent that we normally wake up by 4 in the morning, not to bath, but just to put fire for us to just sit around and keep ourselves warm. That was how cold it was. And then you had to get buckets to fetch water and then boil the water we go to bath and all that. So there were many experiences when it comes to being where I schooled because it was a very, very harsh climate. We had a mountain that you could see in our school. It's called the Shepshi Peak, the highest mountain point in Nigeria. That's where
Yes.
it is. Yeah. That's where. So you just see it from our school. You see the cloud very low. You see how high the mountain is. So that was another good experience. That's something I would like to visit again, just to put it in
See
the
that.
video perspective for people to really see. And there's something about that climate. It's beautiful when it comes to nature, especially after the rainy season.
Yeah.
There's a way the grass in the bush aligns. You would think that it was made by man, but it's actually made by God. As in, the grasses grows in different segments. There's some green grass, there's some pink grass, there's some yellow grass. They're all growing differently, but they are on a very beautiful landscape because our school was like on a mountain. Yeah. Because when you stand on top, you can see how the road goes down and everything. So you see the whole plain. It's one of the most beautifulest things I've ever seen in my life. That's why how beautiful the north is.
I think that there's some experiences. As if you're looking back now, as an adult, if you're reminiscing, there are some experiences, and I think that every single person that went to a boarding school would agree with this. If you There are some experiences we had in boarding school that would most likely kill you right now as an adult. From waking up early to drinking the water we drank, the hygiene level of the food we ate. Well, on many mornings we went to school without taking our bath.
Mm. Of how cold it was, or no water.
Combination of both.
Wow. Mostly, mostly would be unavailability of water in most cases.
All the water is even there,
Or the water.
but you know how hard you had to work for the water. So then at that point in time, bathing will come on. It's like it's not very necessary to bathe this morning. Let's just do some quick
Well, that's what you call it. We call it rubs.
rub and shine.
Rubs.
So if you don't have, even if you have water, but it's not adequate enough to go around, it's
You are
going
going without a bath.
because first things first, there's a time. Now everyone has to be at a certain place at a particular time. So if you could not make it by getting water on time, you'd have to run.
I
You'll
think
be chased out of your hostel.
I think we're
Yeah.
generally on the run most
Yeah.
times. My school had the government college keffi had a cadet system, and the cadets would pair up with some prefects. They had duty days, so on some days labor, on some days Kaduna house captain. They would mix up like that and check through all the houses.
Make sure.
They used to move around with two items: a whistle and a koboko.
Yeah.
Now, now you'd wake up in the morning and it's chaos because you're trying to rub and hang your bag and button your shirt, but run at the same time. And then you hear the whistle coming from here. You have to run back. For there's another prefect behind you, so you have to find a way to shortcut out of it. It was constantly life on. My best period of being in boarding school was when I slept at night.
Yeah.
That was so
It
peaceful.
was peaceful. You didn't have anything to worry about.
I did the next day.
Well, that's also if they don't get to wake you up at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
My school had something called, we did our roll call in a very weird manner. We had a place called Queen's Park. Apparently, Queen Elizabeth was there and she planted a palm tree. It was so tall. And there was a roundabout around the palm tree right at the center. Some genius thought, Hey, let's do roll call. This was no normal roll call. It was 2 to 3 a.m.
Okay.
and everybody showing up in their housewear.
Uh-huh.
And from what I realized, the whole purpose of gathering everybody was just to get the whole school flogged.
Wow.
Our housemaster, Mr. Mandela, housemaster of Kaduna House, showed up one day and disrupted the whole thing and stuff.
Hmm.
That was that.
In the most dramatic fashion.
Yeah, I don't even want to say how he did it.
She saved you people. Well, talking about what Icon was talking about, waking up in the morning, trying to get yourself ready for class. You didn't get water, and then people is prepared to come to your hostel and start flogging you to leave the hostel. Normally, it's something that happens literally in every school. So there was a situation where every prefect normally it's your day to like take charge of the day, as in every activity is on you. So from the morning you start to flog people to get to the class and everything. And there was this guy, he was our sports prefect. His name is Fralo Francis. The guy brought a technique. He said he doesn't like a scenario where you will just come and start flogging students. Sometimes at least you have to give them chance to say, don't worry, I'll give people a chance when it's my turn tomorrow. We normally brief them in the night before the next morning. So we don't know what kind of chance he was trying to give us. The only thing that we heard on the first day was that when we were trying to get ourselves ready, we just started hearing 1, 2, 3, just go quiet. Somebody's counting. When somebody's counting, it's not a good thing. When it gets to 10, flogging. So that counting was the
That
chance
was
he
the
was
chance,
getting.
and you didn't know.
Now, the most annoying thing is that you will tell the people stand by the door, nobody gets free. So you have to dress, jump out with your cloth through the window because if they catch you.
Whoa.
So every hostel were like, you see people, give my cloth, give my this, you just hear 1, 2, shh. You're counting.
What's that? I hear counting.
Now, I think that it's interesting because this would be a peculiar story for a lot of borders,
Yeah.
and it's maybe different for the student based on the structure of the school,
Yeah.
and also the structure of things with the housemaster and labor house captains at all.
My school had no structure at the time when I was in, which was
Oh.
98. 98 from 98 up until I think about 2000, 2001 when I left. No structure.
But I believe that by now that would have
Oh yeah,
been
it's a
changed.
federal government college now.
No,
So
no,
that upgraded.
So we used to have, so we had the main door, the main entrance, and then we had balconies. Now balconies had another door. Every balcony had a door, like a big door that you can pass through. So we didn't even need a window to jump, you know, to out of the hostel into wherever we're going to. The moment you hear last man in this dome,
Oh,
last man in this dome.
dude.
Now you have two options: either to run towards the senior or you're close to the
Window.
you
Follow
do
it
the
out.
needful.
Follow the window.
Question: what's the default?
You jump out
Window.
over the balcony and out. And obviously, once you jump over the balcony out of the hostel, please ensure that you land properly.
Rock and
And
roll.
exactly, you don't stop. Because sometimes you have the prefect come through the main door, and then they have the committee boys
Locking the whole
looking
section.
around, just waiting for you. Just know, well, this is a system that everyone is aware of,
It's
acclimatized
chaos.
to. You understand? So they have strategic places where they position to wait.
Wow.
So, okay, some of you are going to jump through this window. They will stand here. So as soon as you leave, there's somebody wait. Welcome in here.
That's why you need to hit the
So you're
ground
still
running.
running.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of the experiences I had in my school. How to escape last man.
In your school, what are the names of houses you had?
Yeah, we had 5 houses, and our houses were named according to some rivers in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So for the yellow house, which I was in, was called Oji River. For the blue house was called Rima House. The purple was called Gongola House.
Gongola.
Yeah. The green was called Owena House, and then the red was called Shiroro House. So these were all named according to rivers in Nigeria. Because when I got it, I was like, this I only knew of maybe Oji River. I didn't know that Shiroro was a river. I was like, wow, this is very creative, very nice for them to name it this way.
How's it in your school?
Housing in my school, we had were named after animals, and then one plant or one tree. Which red is octopus house, blue is flying horse house, yellow tiger house, green my house, farmhouse.
The palm.
You know,
I guess the green
Oh
comes
yeah,
from the
okay, then
green
I
yeah,
understand that.
vegetation.
yeah. So yeah, that's name of houses that I
Hmm.
How about you?
In my school, we had houses named after places in Nigeria. There was Benue House, there was Hadija, there was Katsinala, there was there was Kaduna House, and there was Niger House. I was in Kaduna House.
And the school was in Nassarawa, right?
Yeah, it was in
So they
Nassarawa. It
basically
was in
named
Keffi.
basically named places that were
Places
close.
around the north, yeah,
Yeah.
around the area.
Okay,
It was
that's
nice.
beautiful. Really nice. Got you some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the only structure I think that my school had. Our hostels didn't have colors. I mean,
Okay.
our houses didn't have colors. We didn't have colors attached to the houses.
So what did you wear as your houseware? What colors were you putting?
Everybody wore the same
Same
houseware.
house.
Ah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
It was you know the color. If you live pass around first, like you know the color of Kabe College.
Mm.
It was red check,
Yeah.
and red trouser.
That's what you wore.
That was our house.
So how do you differentiate between houses?
We didn't. No structure once again. By the way, one of the most dreaded things you would experience is, well, not inspection day, but the
So
results
about.
from the inspection day. Inspection day started for us on Friday. So we'd go find cupboard for some reason and find some used tires and put them around the plants and somehow dig lines and put the cupboard, it was white. Put it around
Yours
so
was
it's
cupboard.
white lines and do all of those fancy stuff. And then of course they would have to take out all the bunks and all the lockers, clean everywhere, and then you find a bunch of things that you'd never we'll move everything out, move them back, mop, do everything. Yeah, it was nice. It was decent because we're all doing things together. We
Yeah.
just fetched a bunch of water to ensure that we're able to do all of that. Wash your clothes, do. Inspection team show up briefly. They have their pads
Score.
marking. We find out on Monday.
Whoever
Now,
came first, whoever came
assembly was the assembly hall. Assembly would start at 7, but we'll get there 6. Now that first hour was for the inspection committee to come announce the results, and it is announced back to front. If your house was not first, second, or third, you knew that you had 2 instructions: go outside the hall, lie down. You will get flogged for not being in the top 3. It was it was a very dreaded time, and it happened every Saturday. So I'm still traumatized. Thank you very much, Government College Keffi.
Well, as when it comes to inspection, it was one of the worst times in our time because it was a day of work. You have to wake up from as early as 6, sometimes 5:30 to go fetch water because during the beginning of my schooling there was no water system in the school. You have to get water from the well. So you have to sometimes go to the village to go get water and then you bring it and so they'll tell you JS2, get your bucket and fetch water. Now JS2 will be like probably like 50 students. So you have like 50 buckets of water. So they'll just give some for certain sections for mopping and then maybe washing the toilets. There will always be buckets that remain. Seniors start picking them to go and bath and all that. And apart from that one, after cleaning and mopping everywhere, the outside section you sweep it and make it very clean. Now you also use cupboard. Ours we use ash. We'll get ash from the kitchen. And then we'll get red sand from the games ground. So we use the red sand, to write things on the ground, and then you use the ash.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome to
Kaduna house. Welcome to Shiruru house. So we did that a lot. And after that, you dress up with your houseware. You put on your white canvas because you had white canvas.
Oh
yes. You put on your white canvas and you dress your bed. You put your uniform and your outing wear and your game so you spread them on the bed. And then you just stand by your bed there. And you come and look at everybody and just to make sure everything turns out well. As normally I announce the results on assembly on Monday, but they will just announce the first 3, first, second, third. The remaining 2, the only thing that happens only maybe by the end of the term, if your house didn't do well so much, that's when you had a lot of problems because at the end of the term, those that did well, there was some kind of compensation for them, and I
Yeah.
think that the compensation was
Yeah.
cabin biscuit
Yeah, cabin biscuit. It
for
was
the whole
about,
time.
cabin biscuit was high
it was good,
currency.
Yeah,
yeah,
it was, but because we always had it, so they gave it to
Cabin
us
biscuit is
and all
high
that.
currency in
And
Bangladesh.
inspection was really something that
Yeah.
we hated, but at the end, it was good because we know that there is nothing to do the whole Saturday just to sit down. You can read book, you can play, you can do anything. That was our Saturday.
And my school didn't have visiting days, so they had nothing else to do.
I would say that you guys had visiting day every single day because if you were leaving school premises at will.
Who gave you this information?
Okay, so
It's true, but I'm just wondering who gave
That's
you
correct.
because we had the conversation before. Anyways, my experience for inspection day in my school. Uh, let me remember. Let me try to remember. Wasn't No, you spoke about your junior students having to go fetch water,
Yeah.
and then you guys have like 50 junior students, and
Uh-huh.
all 50 of them go. In my school, if you had 50 junior students and it was time for labor, believe you me, that number is not going to be complete.
No, definitely. Most times it's not
Then
like that.
we also had on inspection day, we had people who could not be presented to the inspectors.
Mhm.
I know for some school they have like a room, it's a certain room or a place where they go lock them
So
up.
go in there.
Yeah, go
don't
secure
come
them,
out.
don't come out.
Don't breathe.
He don't want to see you.
I hear it
You know?
sounded dead.
See, so we had that also. It wasn't a room per se, but you're not going to be amongst the other
Yeah.
students.
Yeah.
It was for the very,
That's look
you
sharp.
had to look sharp.
Yeah. The
House it was an exercise where the housemaster from the inception has to be part of. He's engaged in. He gives instructions. He works with the house captain and the assistant and the force boys. Okay, how do we get this thing done? It was a competition. So it was exciting also to do, away from the fact that yes, it had a lot of stress because let me take a cue from our homes back in the day. There was general cleaning and then the normal cleaning on a
Yeah.
daily basis.
Yeah.
So when the general cleaning where switch furnitures, move everything out of the house and stuff and stuff. That was exactly how inspection day was. And then at the end of the day, once it's time, everybody, yeah, the thing with cupboard and red soil, it was a thing. Then there was this teacher, Uncle Lima. Oh god damn it. Uncle Lima was one of the most creative housemasters and a father to a lot of students in Flying Horse House. Uncle Lima's house almost always came first.
Flying Horse House.
Yeah, Flying Horse House. Some
Hope you had
So
some great
mystic-
teachers in your school. Nemesis.
So yeah, it was competitive, it was exciting, it was also obviously stressful, and then we had to present the very best. For prizes, of course, they give something to the best house. I never knew what it was.
So you guys never won.
We did. But one day, if we didn't know, I'm not sure if we won, but we never came last. And by the way,
All right. Now, as we speak about this now, we all have that one student, and that's one senior. I knew this. I can't remember his name now. In fact, I think that he was so popular, people didn't care about him. He always had his toothbrush, a spoon, and a fork with him all the time.
Toothbrush, spoon, and a fork.
Fork, yes.
When
He
he
didn't.
brushes, he's ready to go.
He's on the road. He was on the road every single time. Never ever had. He had a house. He had a class, but you could never get a hold on him. That's if you wanted to catch him for some reason. And many seniors wanted to. Most of them, for no reason in particular, just the excitement of getting involved in the
they've
sport.
been hearing
I
about
hear
this.
that there was where is his seat was close to the window, and he was even if you go to the hostel at 11 p.m., you'll not find him there.
Wow.
He always had a spoon, and wherever he went, people just knew his plight. So people were more than ready to share food with him. Say, "How far? Food done ready? Spoon out of the back pocket. Chop, chop, chop. Back on the run." This guy scavenged. I think they call it scavenged. He lived a weird life.
From
As a matter
school.
of fact, I think
Wow.
he didn't finish. And when he left, nobody even noticed.
Because you're not even sure if anything happened to him because he was never
I wonder what
in
kind
any
of
way.
adults that guy would make.
Refusing to make.
What he would grow into. I just
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'm going to talk about that one student. Yeah, who also did not like to stay in the hostel. And this was because they didn't like him. He knew they didn't like him. And obviously, the best way to survive was to stay away from the hostel.
What did he do?
Now, one of the reasons why they didn't like him was because he didn't like to share his provisions.
Oh,
Away from the fact that every junior student is a target, yeah? You even become a prime target when seniors you don't have any use any of you know to students, and you're always on the defensive. Can't go get me something. Oh, senior,
always have an
one thing.
excuse.
You have an excuse. But the most frustrating for students is when they need Gary, sugar, milk, or Milo that you have. They see it in your locker.
They know you have it.
They know you have it, but you tell them, senior, I can't give.
because you know open it, something like that.
That's a very bold thing to say.
No, what made his own special was when they asked him about his Gary, and he said it's sugar. And he said his mom had counted his sugar.
Oh,
Do you know? Just imagine. He said my mom had counted.
First of all, that's a very funny answer. It's also clearly untrue, and you're going to get flogged.
Bro, do we? Can we all agree first that our parents are not here with us?
Yeah.
So even if they counted it, you have the liberty to use it.
Well, they cannot come and do check
Bro,
and
you could not.
how do you even count granulated sugar?
Yeah.
It wasn't cubed.
even if it was a cubed one, say,
Mhm.
at some point in time you just get tired. They said there's St. Louis, the blue one.
Yeah.
St. Louis.
So with that, we just knew this guy was a gunner. You know?
Are you friends with him?
Well, he was in my class. We're not really close because he was always not in the hostel. He was always, they used to call them, what they call them, scopeless. But he wasn't scopeless. He was just giving, he was always not around. And obviously, for every single time they found him in the hostel, they make his a living existence a
left of his
living
life
day.
hell.
So that's that one student. We eventually went out to one other school during the inter-house sport. We were invited, and then we found him. He had found a day student.
Maybe that one student.
Yeah. When it comes to that one student, every set has one person from every set that was like that. But for us, during our set, there was this guy called Kelechi. He was the most mischievous student in my set.
I know it's electric.
Now, he was so good when it comes to eating food to the fact that they gave him the name KK Swallow. Because
That's a sharp nickname.
Swallow.
and he hated the name, but it's a very cool name because we're in GS1 that time, and anytime they call him KK Swallow, as in during our time was when the Busta Rhymes beat came out, the dangerous beat. So, so we had to form a song for him because of how when it comes to dining, he's always there. Be like, when you go to the dining hall, you will see some flags. Take your own and run away because KK Swallow is dangerous. Hey, the whole class will be singing.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
Dangerous,
he was
so
he was that
dangerous.
student. He was everybody knew him, all students knew him. When it came to even writing the names of noisemaker, if Kelechi's name is not amongst, the place put
You didn't do
Kelechi's
a
name.
good job.
Even if he didn't. So he was that kind of student. As in, and to our surprise, he was there too, because we're looking at this guy. We didn't think he was somebody that was going to finish this set. But he did. He got to even SS1. That was when all hell broke loose. All of a sudden, Kelechi just disappeared from the school. We didn't see him. We didn't know where he went. People just believed that he went home. Only for us to hear that he was in town, as in just living his life there. Now, he was not from that place, but because of how he had got acclimatized to people in town, he started living there. To the extent that one day when we were closing, we were going back home, we saw this guy on a bike riding bicycle. We're like, this guy doesn't even know we closed. He's here. So Kelechi was that one student. Nobody wanted to get close to him because if you get close to him, it was trouble. And if you get close to him, all your feet, all your food, everything is
Gone.
gone.
How did you handle? Speaking of food and provisions, how do you handle your provisions?
Well, we had to acclimatize ourselves with the environment. We knew at some point that you had to relinquish
Some of your items.
yeah, to be in a favorable place in the boarding house, especially in my school, you had to grease some palm. And so your provision was one of those, resources that you. So provision was for settling seniors, making up for a couple of things, as well as survival. And obviously, no matter how much provision you bring to school, they can't take it to the end because of
never
that.
takes you
That's
to the
so
end.
true.
Yeah, it never takes you. It never gets you to the end
End
of
of
the
the term.
I knew a student who every visiting day they used to bring. Okay, no, I didn't have a visiting day. I had a story of a student who every visiting day they used to bring a new
Extra
set of
provision
provisions.
for him. Well, for me, that's strange. For me, my own JS1.
Bro,
When I went to JS1, somehow my mother bought me everything too.
Oh no, that was the rule. You get
Yes,
everything.
but do you know the most funniest thing? My cabin got me to the end of the term. As in to the extent that when people realize that you still have this,
Was
you're
it
going
down?
home the next day, but I still have a full cabin biscuit with me. Eh? When they had I still have this, they said, no, you can't keep this still.
Can't take it home.
Everybody.
How did you do it?
I don't know how I did that thing, but I know that I had that extra cabin. How did I keep it? I don't know.
Did
The
you
only
eat-
thing I remember was that you have your sugar, which is granulated sugar,
Yeah.
with Gary. And you know that sugar has to go for the milk, the bombita, and the cabin. And you have to drink it together with the cabin.
I was going to ask if you drank Gary and Captain.
Of course, we did it now. We call it ticks. That's what we call it.
Woo!
Ticks.
Gary and
Yes, Gary and
Captain.
cabin, put it with milk and then fire down. Man. That was very, very interesting. And then there was this.
I thought I'd seen weird combination. Gary and having biscuits.
Amen.
His boarding school was not a real one. They were just being pampered all over.
So there was this thing we do, because you have that sugar for the Gary and everything. The sugar you're using it for Gary, you're using it for the milk. So the sugar will go down.
Down,
as in-
yeah, go down
so when
faster.
you realize that this sugar won't be enough for all these things that are left, so what we do is don't worry, we can drink the tea and the cabin like that. So we'll carry the sugar and pour inside the Gary and mix it.
mix.
And mix it. We'll now mix it so that whenever you want to soak Gary, you just carry
Some
it,
sugar.
put it inside. No, the sugar is already in the
That's a
Gary.
genius.
So you
That's
just
a genius
now
idea.
most times when they cook beans in the hostel, because we want the beans to be
Lord,
good
I
now,
know where
we have
this
to
is
pour
going.
Gary inside and eat.
Oh,
So I remember the day they brought when they
Yes, sugar,
I was like, wait,
Gary.
my Gary has beans inside. My Gary has
Sugar.
sugar inside now. How will I eat these beans? Maybe to make it thick and maybe fill my stomach more. So we have no choice. And I poured the Gary inside the beans.
With the sugar.
It was mixed now.
Why
When
are
I
you
ate
surprised
when I
drinking Gary
ate
and
that thing, that was one of the sweetest things I've ate in my life. I got so addicted to it to the fact that even when I got home, I would put sugar in beans just to eat it. Man, the thing was so delicious. I'm proud of saying I invented one meal. One thing I tried that. So that's how it was, man. You just have to find a way and save yourself till the end of the term till you get something. Did they give you pocket money?
First of all, the one time I took provisions to school was my first time, first term, first year, just one. We had, of course, we had everything in twos. It was nice. We didn't know what it was, so we tore through all the provisions in like 2 weeks.
Ooh, nobody taught you that we broke period.
No.
You won't know.
We
First
found
time.
out- we found out ourselves the hard way.
When I was
Yeah.
going to boarding school.
I'd never encountered anybody who was unfortunately. Did that and we had to find out the hard way. Next time we're going to go to school, it's like, oh, I need to go buy your provisions. It's like, no, hold on. Just buy Gary, sugar, and kuli, and the rest of the stuff you want to buy, just give us. Also, we got to find out also that when you get to school, you have to part with some of it. The first time we didn't part with it because our parents went into the school with us.
Yeah.
The next time you go by yourself.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, come.
What do you have?
Bring it here. Now you have two options. You forgo it, or you give an excuse and you don't. which means you have made an enemy for the rest of the term.
Yeah.
They will seek you out, flog, punish, antagonist for no reason, just because of that one thing. Other seniors will hear too, and your life will be harder than it has.
Wow. Really terrible.
It was a thing with seniors too. It felt like there was a unionism going on where if one person comes to tell the rest of his classmates about a junior student, they don't have to debate about it. What's the guy's name?
That's all.
That's
Which house?
all. Which house? What class? That's all.
You just walk into your house and be like,
Where's
where's chicken? You know what it's for. Usually it's never for any good thing. So
Yeah, when a senior is looking for you.
where's chicken? Junior boys, if you don't answer, I'll punish all of you in this house now. Everybody points him. That's him right there. Oh, you did not even want to answer. First offense. Second offense, what they came for.
Yeah.
It was easy to get into trouble for just about anything. Oh my goodness me.
That's an interesting story.
Yeah.
We will have to at this point in time take a break. Let's go check the cameras, check that it's recording.
Yeah. Which I
And
think
then-
it did.
Yes. Hopefully we have something really good and then move on from there.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It's Memoree Lane across all platforms.
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook,
On the screen.
TikTok,
On the screen. On the screen.
on X. It's Memoree Lane across all platforms.
Thank you. Peace out.
You can be part of us by sharing your stories, your boarding experiences. People, let's have them. Pour them in the set. Thank you.